Passed.
Good morning. We'll call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. All three commissioners are present. Commissioner Funn will lead us in the flag salute.
Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes of October 7th, 2013.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Call for the question. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Public comment. Mr. Bob Gunther.
I'm not Bill Otto.
We know how long this will take. He practiced in the last board meeting.
What did you say? You weren't Ron Averill? I heard you say something. I didn't know.
So I have to call Bill now and let him know. I'm Bob Gunther. For the record, I live at 376 State Route 508, Chehalis, and I consider it a privilege to be able to come and talk to you folks this morning, and thanks for the service that you're giving the county. I just wanted to let you know that I live across the road from the New Wacom Prairie Biosolids dump. And I call that a dump, and it's kind of facetious, but I think by the time I'm finished, you'll realize why I call it a dump. Just recently, you folks received pictures from Bill Teitzel of a biosolids inundation of State Route 508. I could not go to my mailbox that morning and even get my mail without walking in biosolids and tracking it back up the driveway. That's how deep it was, and you've seen the pictures. The reason for that, coming up the state highway, is you might say, well, why did he go up the state highway? Why didn't he go back across the back end of his place over to the Roberts Road, which would have been a very easy connection? The reason for that is some years ago, the gentleman changed the course of that stream that runs through my place onto his place, changed it to run to the east and the northeast instead of running to the southeast, and so therefore that northeast or portion of his property is inundated with water. There's no way in heck he could have got those heavy loads across that swamp. So that's why he had to go up State Route 508, and all the tracking was on the highway. And I might add that there was a lot of other tracking besides the one that I reported that's been on the highway. Lewis County said 10 years ago the material would be disc in within 24 hours. Chris Cooper said that in a public hearing we had here. I went down and visited with SWAPCA, with Denny Hadler, Commissioner Hadler, and SWAPCA said at that time the best application, they have no problem in Vancouver, Clark County with application of biosolids. They disc it in within 24 hours. I just might add that the vector smell was terrible in those years, and Denny Hadler came out and actually upchucked in the ditch while he was looking at the process. This year, on the positive side, this year I want to add that the front field that the gentleman applied to, Fire Mountain, they disked that in. There was very little vector problem. Did a nice job. There's a beautiful crop growing there, but they disked that material in as they applied within 24 hours after application. I don't know about the agronomic amount that was applied to that field, but I'd have to say it was very, very heavy. And I would say to you, I doubt that the soil has ever been tested for just the agronomic application just in that field alone. Since then, he's applied on top of the ground this year, on top of the ground, and Department of Ecology, Jamie Alvarez, I talked to him. He come down and he looked at that application, and he said to me, Bob, he said, that was a good application. Well, lo and behold, and Jamie Alvarez said at that time, you got to understand, he said, I'm only one person. There's only one, I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things, and I'm kind of by myself. So he came down, he inspected. As soon as he inspected and told me everything looked good, then the inundation of more material on top of that, right where Jamie had inspected, and I would just estimate 3 to 4 inches deep all around the area that Jamie had inspected, laying on top of the ground. And right after that application, I know because I got a rain bucket at my house. We had, in the last several weeks, we had over 10 inches of rain come right down on top of that. Now, if you look across the field from 177 Forest Napa Vine Road, you'll see that that elevation is just probably a foot or so above the 177 elevation. And what I'm driving at is that I checked some friends of mine's well, and their nitric level was 3 times higher than my well, which is still within human consumption rate, but their well is contaminated. Now, whether it's contaminated by biosolids, I don't know. That's yet to be proven. So anyway, I'm just saying that laying it on top of the ground, letting 10 inches of rain come on it, or 40 inches of rain throughout the winter is a bad deal. The other thing that's bad about this, in my opinion, is there's residuals left from those biosolids. They don't all go into the soil. What happens the next spring? They cut hay on it and bale it. You look behind the baler and there's just a cloud of dust coming out behind that baler. That's biosolids being taken into that hay, and I would maintain that those cattle are eating that. Now, whether it's bad or not, I don't know, but I just say that's what goes on. I want you to know that Lori Davies is one of the top officials at Department of Ecology. Wen Hoffman is one that is since retired. Kyle Dorsey is a top official who has written a lot of biosolids application programs, and Jamie Olivarez is who I've been talking to. I said earlier that he's been applying on top of the ground. I just want to talk about the vector for a second and the smell. Years ago, he built a building there to house several hundred tons of biosolids. He housed that in that dry storage for all year, and then broke into it in the spring to deliver on top of the ground. And when he did that, that biosolids had sat there and fermented all winter long and gone anaerobic. And the smell was so bad that you couldn't even have a barbecue at your place. My friend, an endodontist, said to me, that's the worst smell that I've ever smelled in my life. And an endodontist smells some pretty tough stuff when he's doing root canals and those kinds of things. He said it's the worst I ever smelled. So then what happened was the vector was so bad with that dry storage that he decided to build a lagoon, unpermitted by the county, built a 3 million gallon lagoon storage system. And I stood on the bank of that lagoon with the people I mentioned, Lori Davies, Wen Hoffman, and Kyle Dorsey, in a wetlands, is where he built it, in a wetlands, by the way. I stood on top of that lagoon and I told Kyle Dorsey and Lori Davies, I said, they'll be shooting geese over this field this fall. And sure enough, just about that time, here come a flock of geese, flew in and landed there at the field. So I said at that time, you need a liner in this lagoon. And I was told by Mr. Thody, I have a impervious clay liner in this pond, or in this lagoon. It doesn't need a liner. I've got an impervious clay liner. So 3 years went on as he stored and made the applications out of that lagoon. The vector, the smell was really, really bad. I kept saying, aeration, aeration, you have to aerate. So he had some little 1 horse or 2 horse pumps or whatever they were, single phase pumps out there trying to aerate that 3 million gallons. It wasn't adequate, so when he'd apply, the vector was really bad in the spring. So after I finally got through to the Department of Ecology about aeration, they started aerating with big tractors, and I don't know, a screw compressor or something. But what happened is over the years, the last 3 years, it's been really good. The vector's been pretty good on application. It's not been smelling too bad because he's aerated. But what he did was he went through this impervious liner, and now the test wells around that lagoon are contaminated with high degrees, way over human consumption degrees of bacteria and nitrates. So here he is. This year he's probably put 100,000 plus into the new liner that the Department of Ecology requested because he broke into the groundwater now, and the wells show positive. I'm afraid that he's probably not going to aerate next year like he did this year because you're not going to run that $100,000 or $150,000, whatever it is, liner. I have proposed a solution for that because I've got 3-phase power within 600 feet of that lagoon to bring 3-phase power in there, put 150 or 200 horses in that lagoon so he can actually aerate properly. He has chosen not to do that. So I assume that he's either going to aerate this year or he isn't this winter. And if he doesn't, the vector smell will be the same. Now, I want to tell you, when we look at the Department of Ecology and the location to the Department of Ecology to the location of the old dump that was on Interstate 5 up at Lacey, it was within a mile or so of the Department of Ecology's buildings. And no kidding, they shut it down because of the vector smell of that dump. That was one of the things. So the lagoon aeration is very essential. As I said, the application for the last 3 years has been pretty good. The monitoring wells are contaminated right now that are around that well, around that. I have asked the Department of Ecology to take a look at his deep water well that he has next to that lagoon and see if that is contaminated or not, because it's within about 100 feet of the lagoon. So far, the Department of Ecology has not got back to me and said, well, we tested that well. So I want to know if that well next to his lagoon is contaminated, like the one on 177 Napa Vine Forest Road is contaminated as we speak today. Whether it's contaminated from biosolids, I don't know. That'll be up to the county to figure out.
Mr. Gunther, you almost finished?
Just about. I got one page left. Thank you. So I've asked for three-phase power. The permanent liner with the tractor aerates is not going to work, I don't think. Let's see, material very heavy, and we got 10 inches of rain, as I told. My well's okay. The well in 77 is contaminated, 177. I suggest checking the wells downstream, which is downstream of my place. The well on 177 Forest Nap Vine Road is three times higher than mine, still within reason. And I just wanted to close by saying I would ask you to either warn the people on the Forest Napa Vine Road that they might want to check their wells or do something about getting their wells checked. And the other statement I'd like to make is, this is a biosolids dump. It is not a farming operation for the beneficial use of biosolids. It's a dump. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move that we approve resolution number 13-492 through resolution number 13-493.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Gross?
There are two special warrants in today's consent agenda, resolution 13-492, totaling a total of $74.90. And there are 92 regular warrants in the amount of $1,071,410.16, for a total in warrants for $1,071,485.06. In addition, there are 208 payroll warrants and 452 automatic deposits for October 4th, 2013, payments against the county in the amount of $3,323,941.13.
Good morning, Danette York, Director of Public Health and Social Services, speaking to item number 2, resolution number 13-493, which is to approve a contract with the Lewis County Shelter Program to provide assistance to individuals who are homeless. This is the contract that we receive from the state, and once we receive it from the state, we are authorized to subcontract with a provider in the county. This contract we will be providing is to the Lewis County Shelter Program as the subcontractee. It runs from July 1st of 2013 through December 31st of 2013 for the Housing and Essential Needs Grant. This contract provides funds for Lewis County Shelter Program to provide the services to the homeless and those persons at risk of becoming homeless by assisting them with rental assistance, utility assistance, and essential needs. The individuals who receive these services live in Lewis County, and they have all been determined to be recipients of medical care services by DSHS. The total budget for the contract is $199,134.
So this is in addition in the funding from the mental health tax?
Yes, this is a totally separate grant. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Then I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Consent agenda is approved.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our agenda this morning. I move we adjourn.
Second?
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? We're adjourned.